Welcome to the Spaceport Vlog, the only vlog where you can consistently expect the format to be different on the next episode. Today we're going to be talking about Star Wars, specifically why KOTOR 3 could still possibly happen, fingers crossed. And then we're going to be talking about the Battlefront DLC plans, and is it worth it? You probably know the answer, but I'm going to tell you anyways, in case you don't know. Okay, so let's start off with KOTOR 3. Because while it may not be happening as far as I'm aware, there's still a possibility. And with every time something new is revealed in Star Wars, the new canon of Star Wars, there's still that possibility, and even more of a possibility than I thought there was before. Because when they originally did the EU, my first thought was, oh no, now KOTOR 3 is never going to happen. Because the EU is now gone, KOTOR's gone, my life can never be complete anymore. The first time I thought this was possible is I was playing Galaxy of Heroes, right? And I saw there was HK-47, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. HK-47, he's in this game. Everything that happens after the EU wipe, after the canon wipe, is considered canon, so that must make this canon. The only thing with that is apparently Galaxy of Heroes isn't canon, which is kind of weird. Pablo tweeted, he was one of the Lucasfilm guys who deals with all what's canon and what makes sense in the Star Wars universe. He tweeted that it possibly isn't canon, but that begs the question: is the game story not canon and the events that take place in it, or is the entirety of the game? Because if it's not, if the characters in it are canon, that means HK-47 does exist, which gives us a step closer to KOTOR 3. The next thing is Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Now, there was a book, I can't remember exactly what the book was. You guys can tell me in the comments if you want. It was published for The Force Awakens, and it was stated that Kylo Ren's lightsaber was built using designs from the Great Scourge of Malachor. Now, that really doesn't tell us very much, but the only scourge I can think of happening in Malachor is when Revan used the mass shadow generator and it went, and it didn't look very good. Malachor appeared in the events in KOTOR 2, and it was mentioned fairly often, I think, in KOTOR 1. I'm pretty sure that's correct. There was some other Malachor, because it was Malachor 5 that happened. There's other Malachors. There was something that happened in Star Wars The Old Republic, but I wouldn't consider that a scourge. That was some Sith dude. He's like, bleh. Anyway, so on Malachor 5, the planet survived, and there was a Sith Academy that was started up after that, and you find that in KOTOR 2. And so it would not be surprising if Kylo Ren happened to be making a pilgrimage there as part of his training, and that was kind of, Snoke is like, go to Malachor, and this is where you're going to build a lightsaber, and so that was his kind of initiation into becoming a true Sith. So that would be kind of cool, and you look at his lightsaber, and it kind of is reminiscent of lightsabers you might see in KOTOR 2. I mean, it's not like there was a great deal of, artistry in those lightsabers, or individualism in those lightsabers, but you can kind of denote similarities from it. So it would be very believable. It would be very, there's some other things, like in Clone Wars, there was some depictions of Mandalorian wars on the walls, and you can see that in the episode where Darth Sidious fights Darth Maul and Savage. You can see them like they're kind of cave painting-ish, if I remember correct. And then there's also Pre Vizsla in, I think it was the first episode you see him in, stated that you probably remember his black lightsaber. It's all flat and weird. He said that his ancestors got that in a time when they sacked the Jedi Temple, which the only time I can really think of when that happened, when Mandalorians sacked the Jedi Temple, the only time I can think of when Mandalorians sacked the Jedi Temple is, of course, the sacking of Coruscant, where there happened to be a Mandalorian girl, whose name was Shay Vizsla, who was participating in the sacking of Coruscant. So it would not be surprising that as a Mandalorian she would want to take a trophy, and of course finding a very unique lightsaber that was black and flat would be a very cool trophy, especially since it would probably remind her of one of the vibro blades that she would be using. My hope is that what's happening is Disney is kind of setting up for a possibility that they might make a KOTOR game, or at least introducing these events just for fans like me, so that way I can still have hope. So the fact is, it's still a possibility, and I don't know if they would just totally accept everything that happened in KOTOR 1 and 2. I'd be fine with what they did is they took KOTOR 3 and it happened, but they didn't necessarily make KOTOR 1 and 2 canon, so that way then, like, if there was all those weird lore problems that were in there, they didn't have to worry about those and have to iron those. They don't have to iron it out because they're just not including that. So that would make sense to me if they did that, and I'd still get a KOTOR 3, and I'd be happy with that. I'd be fine. I just want KOTOR 3. That's basically all I have to say about the possibility of getting KOTOR and what I know that's in The Force Awakens. Oh no, that's wrong, because I have a theory that not only is Kylo Ren, not only did he pilgrimage to Malachor 5 to make his lightsaber, but he's a part of the Knights of Ren, which I think are Revan Knights. Now, if you played, actually, you wouldn't have known this from KOTOR or KOTOR 2, but if you played the Old Republic, or if you read the comic books or just know anything about the lore, then you know that the Revan Knights are devoted followers of Revan. And then also in the Old Republic, there was, I don't think they called themselves Revan Knights in the Old Republic. I can't remember what they called themselves. You can tell me in the comments and tell me how dumb I am for forgetting. But they called themselves something like that. But anyways, so the idea is that these followers of Revan have existed for a very long time. A very long time, and it would not be surprising for them to continue existing. And so what if they continue existing, and so over the years they change from being Revan Knights to Knights of Ren? That would be very believable, and the names are still very similar enough that it would still be like an obvious connection. And not only that, but their outfits, especially Kylo Ren's, I mean, you get a very big Revan vibe out of that. I mean, you look at Kylo Ren, you think, this guy, he says he's a Darth Vader fanboy, but I don't believe it. I think he's a Revan fanboy, and that's that. He can say, oh, and maybe Revan is like his great, super great grandfather. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with the story. As long as Revan's in it, then and KOTOR 3 happens, then I can die happy. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm not very good with theories, so if you want to expand on this theory of them being Revanites, go for it. And just if you make a video or a blog, just post it in the comments so I can watch it and be like, thanks for that, because this is what I need. I'm not usually big on theories like this, especially since a lot of times a lot of the evidence they use is it's filled with holes. It doesn't seem to have enough backing, and then you look at something else and you say, okay, you have a lot of evidence here, but then there's this one thing over here that just kind of says it doesn't happen. For example, like if somebody said it's not true, then the theory wouldn't be true because it's not. That's generally how a lot of theories go. Alright, so let's move into Battlefront DLC. Is it worth it? I'm gonna tell you right now, no. I mean, was it like $15 for one of them? Or $50 for the season pass? And you have to pay $60 for the whole game? I mean, we already know. If you don't know that Battlefront was not worth the $60 at this point, then you probably are just super rich and just aren't aware, or you just don't know what, you haven't read a review or played the game or anything. But when it was coming out, I just had I wanted it to be awesome because I really wanted to buy it, and in the back of my mind I'm thinking, like, I'm thinking, this is not gonna be good, Mason. Don't get this. It's not. It looks great. It feels pretty good, but there's just so many weird things about it. For example, why none of the vehicles are just on the field. I don't understand why they can't be on the field. Why do I have to get some floaty icon to get in the vehicle? I don't get it. They're just weird things like that. But the fact that, I mean, a lot of people, tons of people get bored after just 10 hours max. That's not good. Well, I mean, for $60, that's not worth $60. I've always seen it, and I say this all the time, but I always see it as you should get at least 1 hour per dollar you spend in the game. So if you pay for a $60 game, you should be able to play it for 60 hours. And usually with big games like this, you can kind of get some leeway, like 40 hours, okay, fine, I guess that's okay if it was a really awesome game. But like 10, like, that's crap. That's a terrible game design. That is just not good. And now they want you to pay $50 more at least in order to get the rest of the game. I mean, this whole package should have been $60 to begin with. You shouldn't have had all this other stuff. But I should tell you what's coming. So they just announced what you can get with the Season Pass. Why they were selling you a Season Pass without telling you what you can get with it is beyond me. That just seems like an epic scam. But they finally just announced, sort of. Supposedly there are going to be more with it, but all they've really said, the first one is coming with, they've told us about 2 maps. They've told us about a map on Endor, I think it was, and a map on, no, it was a map on Sullust, and it was a map on Tatooine. And that's going to be like, what, $15? Is there not going to be a planet with that? Because that's terrible. I mean, at least one planet. Why do I have to continue playing on Sullust and Tatooine? The map is Jabba's palace, which, that's great. Why that wasn't in the original game or isn't coming out for free, I don't know. The next one is, I believe, the Death Star. No, the next one is Bespin. The third one's Death Star. So the next one is Bespin. I don't know how much you can really do with Bespin. I mean, you can't do Walker Assault because that doesn't make any sense. Bespin seems like a pretty obvious choice, and then Death Star, obvious choice, but also you couldn't do Walker Assault. I mean, one planet for $15, that doesn't, none of this seems like a fair value. And then the fourth one they haven't told us anything about, so we still don't know. That could be up in the air. That could be the best place in the world. There could be like 15 planets coming with that one, but I seriously doubt it. I would not cash in on that bet. And that's coming out in early 2017. That's forever from now. It's still not worth it. There's no reason for them to be thinking that this makes any sense. They're doing some more free DLC stuff, but it's really not that spectacular. It's stuff that's like, okay, yeah, if you try to charge me for this, then I would just be really ticked off. Like Han and Luke are getting Hoth costumes, alternative costumes, and there's some other maps coming for Hoth and coming for Endor, and that's really all there is. I mean, that's a $110 game for at max, if there is a planet with the first DLC, at max 9 planets. Now I can't remember exactly how many planets Battlefront 2 had, but I'm pretty sure it was more than 9. It just feels like this is an epic ripoff. And it makes me really sad because I've been waiting forever for a new Battlefront game, and when it comes out and it's nothing like what you expected it to be or wanted to be, I mean, I don't know. So, it pretty much wraps it up for this week. There's not much else for me to say because really there hasn't been much going on past week for news, really. I would try and talk about news in the video game world, but I mean, there's nothing going on. So I'll see you next weekish, maybe week and a half or so. Depends on how much time I have to do these. I'm also doing another video for the Cantina that's almost finished. I'm hoping to have it done very, very soon, but I'm not going to give a deadline because you just never know. You never know what happens. I mean, they've been working on this for a little while now, and it's kind of blown up into more than what I originally planned for it, which isn't necessarily bad, but it just means that it's taking longer than I thought. So I will see you guys next time. You've been watching the Spaceport vlog. Do not forget to subscribe, because I'm going to continue talking about Star Wars and other things. I mean, my interests include Elder Scrolls and Lord of the Rings, although I've been I don't know. Lord of the Rings, Shadow of Mordor was awesome. I'll say that. What else does it include? It includes other things, but mostly those three, I think. Mostly those three. Oh, I really like Wheel of Time. There's not much to talk about for that right now. Maybe in the future we'll finally get an actual Wheel of Time game or something. I wouldn't want it to be... I thought about this, and I would not want a Wheel of Time, like if they made a movie or TV show or something, I wouldn't want it to actually be following the events that happen in the books, because it's written in a way that you really can't capture what happens in a movie. Like, no, people aren't going to fully understand what people are thinking and everything like that, and it's without that, it really detracts from the whole Wheel of Time experience. So I think that if they did it, what they should do, I'm weighing on the line, what they should do is make a Wheel of Time TV show that follows the events of Tam Althor while he was a soldier, and while he was like the second in command of the Companions or something in Ilion. That's what they should do, is they should follow that. Follow that, and that's what you need to do. Or do something in the Age of Legends, I don't know, follow a different story. Or maybe, I probably shouldn't do a follow-up afterwards. That should be like some kind of short story or something, I don't know. Maybe a video game. So that's what they should do. I will see you guys. Did I already say don't forget to subscribe? Because you shouldn't forget. Also, go press like if you liked it, and yeah, like I said, if you want to continue on the theories that I talked about for the Revenites / Knights of Ren kind of idea, go for it, because I mean, there are a lot of people out there who are better at doing this kind of research than I am. They can dig up like really key details and maybe point out things that I overlooked. So that would be awesome. See you guys later.